All right, everybody, after a gigantic delay, over an hour late, but we are going to bring you our original match. Isurus taking on PotM. Mikey, are you even here still? I don't even know. It's been a while since we've talked, but hopefully he's still joining me for this cast. What's up?
Hey man, still here. Just a bit drowsy, about to fall asleep. Ready to watch some Dota.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. It's definitely been a very, very long delay, but we're finally going to have the game. This is going to be the last one of the day, guys. Root will not be able to play again. And right now, we're going to see the first couple of bans out from Isurus right here. It is Lycan and Broodmother, the first two, and also Darkseer taken out by PB. So nothing really too surprising as of yet. CK is also not going to be seen this game, but it's actually kind of a change-up, actually. We saw Brood, Lycan, if I'm not mistaken, actually played in the previous game, but this time they're not going to be seen.
Yeah, I guess these teams just have a different way of going about bans. Like even in the last game, Chaos Knight was not banned until what, the second to last ban out of both teams, and now it's the second ban. It's just, I guess they're taking a different approach to this game.
Now we'll have to see. Just waiting on the last couple of bans out before first pick does finally go out. And actually, I think they were talking about in the lobby that somebody else would have first pick, like maybe Dire, which would be really, really strange because second pick does end up having a higher win rate anyway, which would mean that in most tournaments, people actually giving first pick to Radiant is worse because you get 2 extra heroes instead of just 1, and typically they're very, very high tier. But not really sure if that's going to be the case this game. Enigma is the last ban out, and yeah, it is typical Radiant first pick. So Enchantress not going to be seen either, and that might be a little bit of a mistake here by PotM, actually. They'll let the Chen wide open here. Maybe they're just baiting it out, though.
Yeah, it's kind of strange to see PotM go for the Enchantress ban because they love picking that hero. They love running that hero. I don't know, it's kind of odd.
Yeah, they're going to take the Chen here, but they get Invoker and Nature's Prophet for it, so I definitely think they got what they were looking for right there. No real surprise. They're going to end up with one pretty darn good push hero and just an overall very strong hero throughout the entirety of the game and Invoker. And now we're going to have to wait to see what Isurus wants to do to react to this. It's still very early on in the picking phase. There's still a couple of very high tier heroes left to pick from, but we'll see what Isurus wants to do. And I'm not really sure. Like, I think that most people would probably be favoring PotM going into this just because we haven't seen much of Isurus gaming. So, in that specific sense, I think that most people would say that PotM is probably going to be the one they're looking to win this game. But Isurus is going to pick up a Queen of Pain and a Tidehunter, so they have a phenomenal amount of teamfight right now. And wow, just crazy fast Crystal Maiden pick coming out for PB. And after seeing that Tide and the Queen of Pain, I can only imagine that Isurus wants to play mid game.
They'll definitely be going for some kind of mid-game push-oriented strat with the Chen and the AoE ultimates. But what I'm really looking at is PotM has fallen the same suit as yesterday's game against Root Gaming. They started out with the Invoker and the Furion, so they could be looking to do something like that again. Maybe they're not, like, they don't want people to believe that they run that strat poorly. They want to show that they're dominant with their picks, so they're just going to do it again.
Yeah, they're still missing a couple of heroes for their global strat, though. I know they're a team who loves to play AA, so we're probably going to be seeing that coming out soon if it is going to indeed be the strategy that you were just talking about. I wouldn't put it past them either. And like you say, too, typically they always do well with it. Like, that was actually one of the first times I've seen them kind of get picked apart a little bit, where typically they're the ones doing that just particular thing. And we're also going to see Leshrae taken out here by Isurus. And now Death Prophet also taken out by PB, so they're definitely wanting to avoid that just mass amount of AoE damage and teamfight potential that hero brings to the table. Not to mention silence is very, very hard to deal with. I think it's one of the longest AoE silences in the game up there with Droz, and just in general very, very tough to deal with, especially if you're heroes like Invoker and CM, who pretty much rely on nothing but their spells to keep them alive. And in this particular game, man, I don't know, I still say it's pretty much anyone's game. It's going to be up to PB to be fairly coordinated, though. I would say at this point, Isurus has a more forgiving lineup.
Yeah, definitely. They have a Tide Ravage and a Chen Heal, man. There's nothing more forgiving than those two spells. PotM has to use their spells accurately and perfectly if they want to do damage with them.
Sand King going to be taken out here by Isurus. Now we're just going to see what PB wants to do as their last ban before we get into the second pick phase. Once again, guys, this is the last game of the day. It is a best of one. This is Group 2. Isurus taking on PotM. My name is Draskyl. Join me for the cast, Quantic, Mikey. Thanks again for being here, man. And thanks to all you guys for watching and sticking with us through that ridiculously long delay. I want to say we had something like 600 or 700 people just sitting there talking with me in chat, waiting for the game. That shows Dota 2 dedication if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, man, it's really great. I'm glad that we're getting along this well with Dota 2. People just sit in the chat and talk to the caster while we're waiting for the players to get in the gear.
All right, well, Lone Druid going to be the last man out for the game. Now we're going to see what Radiant side wants to do. And taking out the Lone Druid at this point, I mean, you can kind of say that they can worry about his late game potential. He can kind of stop pushes and push himself, but I'm not really sure what their goal was with that ban. Most of the bans that I see from PB I can definitely justify, but Lone Druid's probably the only one where I'm kind of just scratching my head going, why the Lone Druid, you know? Like, that's something that I'm not really piecing together here, but maybe you can shed some light on it.
I mean, Lone Druid fits their lineup. If they do a Bear and a Tide Hunter and a Chen on the short lane, that's a really strong tri-lane that's going to push. It's going to get the Bear farm. It's going to win that lane convincingly. And maybe they just don't want to deal with a Lone Druid going into the mid of this game. The mid-game push from Isurus would be too powerful for them to deal with, maybe.
Whoa! That is one of the first times I've ever seen a Sven, I think, picked in a competitive game. And I mean, both these teams are very high level, don't get me wrong. And Winner also was picked up by Isurus. But have we ever seen a Chen before? Or not a Chen, a Sven?
I've personally seen Sven plenty of times. Team Complexity, they run that hero in their scrims. They run it extremely, extremely well. We'll just have to see if PotM can do it as well. Like, it can be a very strong hero, has very good skills. It's just there are things about the hero that makes it not a good pick for this meta game, such as its mobility. We just have to see how they run it.
All right, Morphling going to be taken by Isurus, and I definitely agree. I feel like Sven's skill set, though, really doesn't rely on him getting too much farm. A lot of heroes have abilities that scale relatively well. I mean, you have God Strength from Sven, you have a great AoE stun, and then you have his mobility, War Cry, or Battle Cry, I can't remember which one, I think it's Battle Cry, gives him that extra bonus armor and move speed for his team. And I actually thought that he was underused. His mobility does hurt him quite a bit, but in this particular game, I don't know if PB is actually going to be playing him as a carry. We'll have to see, though. If Aoi plays him, it definitely is going to be a carry Sven. And Morphling also picked up by Isurus, so they have, in my eyes, the perfect counter to a late game Sven, because what are you going to do against a Morphling who can basically just wait for him? He's going to have a Linken's at some point for sure, and he's most likely going to be going for a Scotty after the Ethereal Blade. So with that being said, I mean, super late game, I think a Morphling is going to kind of edge him out if he's going to be farming.
Yeah, we have to think if PotM gets the upper hand early game, a Sven can really tear up this game with a Blink Dagger or a BKB or just any core item on that hero. He could just shred through these heroes on the Radiant side.
Well, we're definitely going to see how it turns out. Waiting on just one more hero from PotM. See how they want to round out their lineup. And after their picks right now, I feel like they need a long laner. I mean, at this point in the game, you could send Furion to the long lane, and they're going to go with a Night Stalker instead. So I am actually assuming this is going to be a dual lane mid.
I feel like it could be a dual lane mid. It could also be just a short lane tri-lane or an offensive tri-lane with two solos. I feel like it's going to be some sort of tri-lane.
Well, we're going to see, and I'm actually pretty interested, so I'm just going to be watching straight away. Okay, so Tides of Time is playing Sven. It's not going to be a carry Sven. It's just going to be support. Going to have Aoi 2000 playing on that Night Stalker, and we could actually be looking at a tri-lane from PB and instead have the solo safe lane Furion, which is a little bit interesting to say the least, but I really think it could work, man. Their damage output in this lane is going to be absurdly high.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fast bursts really early on, like a stun, a frostbite, or a frost nova with the void. It could potentially kill any of the heroes, except for maybe the Morphling if he can wave out.
Well, we are going to have a pause because, you know, when you're an hour late, you just need that extra 15 seconds to get everything into order here. But it looks like we're going to be having a Morphling heading to bottom lane with a Tide Hunter babysit along with a Chen in the woods. And just looking at the lineup right now, at least in this particular lane from Isurus, I got to say they're probably at a disadvantage. I mean, we're talking 2 AoE nukes straight away from the Nova and the stun from Sven as well. Then you're going to have a secondary stun coming out in the form of Frostbite from Crystal Maiden. And then you have a Void, which is one of the best mana-efficient nukes of any hero in the early phases of the game. So I really feel like PotM's going to have a little bit of an advantage. If the Chen gets good ganks, though, that could turn everything around. The only problem is, like, they can really only go on the CM. The other heroes are just too tanky.
Yeah, I completely agree, and you have to look at it from a perspective of they can leave the NS for just a minute and they can push the Chen back. The Chen can be completely negated by the Sven and the Crystal Maiden and just pushed out of the forest. And then what do? It's just 2 versus 3 lane, and then that's that. And Night Stalker just gets the farm.
Well, the rest of Isurus lanes, we're going to have Windrunner going up to that top lane. Queen of Pain is going to be going mid up against likely an Invoker, so I think that lane's pretty even. I mean, the Queen of Pain's probably going to get runes unless you have one of your lanes pre-runing for you, or you just simply get lucky. But for the most part, I think most people would say that that lane's almost essentially a wash. Again, we're going to have the Furion taking on the Windrunner. So I think that lane is actually a little bit favored for Windrunner, just because of the fact that her animation and her damage isn't quite as good, but she can power shot spam, whereas Furion has no real way to harass.
Sure enough. There are some certain tricks you could do with a Furion, like you can go a level of Trent and just put them on the Windrunner and try to push her out of the lane while you creep and try to control the lane. However, the Windrunner does have Windrun, he does have power shot. It can go even. It can go either way. But on Furion short, I would give a slight advantage to the Furion, actually.
All right, well, I definitely would take your word over mine at this point because I don't play either of the heroes too much. So we'll see how things work out, and we're going to have Morphling sitting behind the tower here. Very aggressive warding being done right now from PB, and I actually think that the Morphling spotted that out. We already saw a ping. He's like, yeah, there's probably going to be a ward here, and you guys need to be very, very careful, as Tide is going to walk right into an invis, so that's going to help him out significantly. They're going to spot out this aggressive tri lane, and they might just go ahead and try to get a first blood middle lane.
I don't think the Invoker would actually die to this, but it's good pressure to keep him back and give the Quab somewhat of an early advantage.
Yeah, he's just chilling on top of the hill here. If they're even going to try, though, okay, yeah, he did skill level 1 Shadow Strike. But this is the thing. Fogged had a better block. He's got better positioning in the lane. He's on his high ground, so it's going to be very, very tough for them to really do anything out of this. And I got to say, at some point, like, the Tide just has to go ahead and abandon the lane. He's giving Fogged an experience advantage by standing here.
Oh, and here they go.
Oh, okay, they're going to go on, and there's a Shadow Strike and the Gush. Wow, he is actually really slow.
God.
He might actually go down here, and that is going to be first blood in favor of Isurus, so I actually didn't think they had the damage output either, but man, that invis paying for itself. I thought Fog was totally okay in that position.
The patience of the Tidehunter there was really everything. He waited for the creeps to get down this hill, and then he just picked the right moment, and then he picked the Invoker apart. It's really well done by the Tidehunter.
That's definitely the start that they're going to be looking for, especially considering I thought of all lanes, First Blood would definitely be seen in this bottom lane, and that was definitely not the case. Morphling doesn't really have any farm to speak of. He's actually 0-0, but he did manage to get level 2. As Tide's time over here playing this Sven is going to be walking back and forth, trying to scout out any potential Chen ganks that are going to be coming his way. And I gotta say, man, that kill mid is very, very big, especially because of the fact that Queen of Pain did get it. I mean, if you look at her CS, she's 1-4, so she was definitely struggling a bit, which is strange. And Fogg's at 8-4, so actually the farm discrepancies almost made up for itself already.
Yeah, and they're going to try to kill him again with the smoke gank from the Chen.
Oh, Fog doesn't have any ranks in anything but Exort. He's going to get caught up by the net. There's the Gush as well. Shadow Strike to follow it up. Anchor Smash just for good measure. Who's going to get the kill? They are going to go ahead and give it to Queen of Pain once again. Fog starting with a quick 0-2, and Isurus has some momentum in this early game, especially because the Morphling is playing very smart. He hasn't gotten greedy, hasn't put himself in a position where he could potentially be taken out. And overall, man, Isurus playing a really solid early game so far. Bottom lane?
Yeah, man.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, the Invoker, he's destroying the Queen of Pain when it comes to CS, but these ganks are just completely winning the lane for the Queen of Pain. Like, the Invoker still has higher CS, and he hasn't even been on the lane except for, what, 2 waves?
Yeah, he's 8-4, and actually Queen of Pain just caught him, yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely troublesome. We've been paying a lot of attention to this mid lane. Let's go ahead and check top. So Furion right now is at 12-3, so he's not doing too bad. 7-1 for the Windrunner. So the Furion actually is just barely edging this out. He's going to eat a power shot right there, but he doesn't seem to be too worried about it. He has level 4 now too, so he can try to attempt to help his team gank if need be. And that's another thing too. I mean, we're talking a potential quad lane really from PB if they want to try to come in and kill any of these heroes.
Yeah, I'm slightly surprised.
Stun right on the Tide right there, and the Void as well. There's the AoE coming out, but it looks like CM's actually going to drop as well, so 1-for-1 support for support. Tide and CM both going down. Now Tide's of Time and Aoi2000 both trying to run away here. And, I mean, giving Morphling the kill right there. Who got the kill for PB? Looks like it was Crystal Maiden, so that was actually a little bit inefficient. And Isurus, I mean, it wasn't anything huge, but they still got to be happy with that, giving their Morphling, who wasn't getting any farm, some kind of gold in the form of a kill.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Furion is not showing more aggression in this game. He could help out the bottom lane so much. It's an aggressive tri lane, and Furion can TP in. It could be a 4v3 situation, a 4v2 situation. It can go extremely well in PotM bottom's favor if the Furion just picks the right moment and TPs.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He's actually level 5. He opted to get another rank in his Nature's Call, so he's pretty much just going to be spamming treants and try to do whatever he can in the early game. And speaking of, CM's actually going to get caught out again. TP coming in, though. from Sven to try to turn this around. Crystal Maiden gets quite low. There's a battle cry pop by Sven to try to catch out the Tide here, and he does not have a TP, so they know that he went into the Roche pit. There's no other way he could block that. Oh, but Queen of Pain comes in. Looks like she might be able to get the kill on Crystal Maiden. TP coming in as well from Furion, and yep, Tide is going to go down. Doesn't get denied. Oh, where's the deny? On the Shadow Strike, it is good. Oh, never mind. He's going to health pot up between the ticks, and he should be able to get out of here A-okay. So Crystal Maiden barely getting out of there with her life and managing to get the kill on time, so that's definitely good for PB at this point. And bottom lane, though, they're giving Morphling some breathing room. He's managed to get a couple of CS ever since the 2 supports left. But in the same sense, man, Aoi 2000, he's sitting at 20-6 right now, so he's doing very, very well. Let's go ahead and check the gold, actually. I'm a bit curious. So it's not really too much of a lead, really, right now. They're only about 250 gold ahead for Isurus, and actually experience is really the story. It's over 1,000. Oh no, Chen might get caught out here by Sven and Crystal Maiden as well. There's the startup stun and the frostbite as well, and Furion's also level 6, but Crystal Maiden's gonna pay with her life as the Sunstrike manages to pick off Chen in the woods. Still a 1-for-1, but Tides of Time is behind enemy lines. He really needs to try to juke this. Oh, Queen of Pain doesn't have any mana. He might actually be able to get away. Oh, but that's level 2 Gush. This is gonna be really hard. It's gonna take so much extra damage from the minus armor, and yep, that's gonna be a dominating streak for Nova playing on that Queen of Pain. And right now, 5-3 in favor of Isurus.
Yeah, man. They're not even, like, in terms of CS, PotM is winning, but just the ganks and the movement from Isurus is just, they're keeping them, like, ahead in the gold farm.
I really do agree with you, though, what you said earlier. This Furion just has to be a bit more of a factor. I mean, he is level 6, and his farm is actually pretty great. It's just that he hasn't made his presence felt in the early stages of the game. He is going to go for quick treads, so that helps his damage output a pretty good margin. I actually used to see people get like Urn and things like that early game in Medallion just to add to the gank potential, but bottom lane has actually been very, very quiet. Morphling has not died at all so far. He doesn't have the greatest amount of CS. Oh, but we might have a gank on middle lane as well. Fog is here. They're going to have the battle cry. Sven wants to try to get to him. He's going to get frozen in place. There's a Sunstrike right away. He can't blink in time! And one auto attack from Sven takes him out. There's a very, very much needed kill, especially if you're in PB's position, and Fog's got to be happy with the first revenge kill so far.
Yeah, man. The Queen of Pain is living only off hero kills, so when you die on somebody who's living off only hero kills, it sets you back quite a bit. So that really helps PotM get back in.
Chen making his rounds to bottom lane. Looks like they might try to pick off I-2000 here, but man, he's got 1100 HP in only 7 minutes, and he's just going to try to dive on this Morphling. He's trying to bait it out. There's a Morph Strength, and he's going to have to run here. Chen here to help out his teammate, only level 4, so there's not going to be any Hand of God, and we actually have Sven being played by Tide sitting up here in the top side of the woods to try to have a potential turnaround, but this is a really risky play. There could be potential TPs coming in from Isurus, and they're just going to go ahead and choose to play it safe and back up instead. Right now, Morphling actually sitting on pretty much no health whatsoever. He doesn't even have enough to wave for him. If they spot that out, they could definitely dive this, I feel.
I think he's just waiting for the Chen to TP him home. I'm not really sure why he's not.
No, it looks like way too he's going to get caught out. Crystal Maiden getting stomped right there, and now Morphling wants to get the kill. He might go down. Is he really? Oh, there we go. There's a finally gets a kill, but Sven is going to get a kill on Chen, or actually Invoker got that kill, and it looks like Morphling died at the same time. So now a 1 support for basically a carry and a jungler trade. I think that PB is going to make that trade every day of the week.
Yeah, really well warded by PotM. They see the Queen of Pain coming, so Kurt's just gonna, or Aoi 2000 is just gonna juke him out and hide from him. Oh, Tides of Time though.
Tides.
He saw him coming. That's questionable plays.
Yeah, they had a ward in this bottom river. That's what you're referring to, just for anybody who didn't see it on the mini-map. There's actually a DD there, too. I guess that just spawned at the 8-minute mark, so it's going to be a free rune for Queen of Pain, or actually Fogged, since he's going to be the first one down here. And yeah, I totally agree. You can't have things like that happen where you have full vision and you still die to a gank. I thought he was going to be okay there, but still, slight kill lead for Isurus at 8 minutes into the game, 7-6. And I got to say, even though we've waited a long time, it feels like the action is doing its best to try to make up for the long wait.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm just waiting for more action out of the heroes at the top lane. Once they get into the game, I think the real action is going to start. The shackle shots and the teleports all over the map. Should be interesting to see.
Yeah, we still haven't seen the Furion really TP to any action so far, man. He's just been sitting up here kind of free farming, and his CS is great, by the way. It's 52-9, so he is doing a very, very good job comparative to the 34-2 of Winter, who's also not doing bad, but hold on. Chen getting picked off by a Furion and a Night Stalker, actually, in the woods. So there we go. The first time he TPs, it looks like it was just to get one right-click in to get himself a kill.
Yeah. I mean, that's all it takes. It got him that extra gold. He's doing really well in CS. Now he can even push bottom lane.
Oh, Morphling. He's going to get silenced out here. Already converting stats, though. He might be able to live through this. How much agility does he have left? Okay, he's got 1,600 HP. He should be okay for the moment. Immediate TP in reaction, though, from Nova. The Queen of Pain here trying to defend if they can, but this could still be a mistake, man. One silence from a Night Stalker, and they could kill the Queen of Pain in that very easily. They need to play this carefully, and I think that Nova knows that. He's currently falling back, and there's a smoke up on 2 supports right now from Isurus as well, as we're going to see some potential counterwarding. Actually, no! We're going to see sneaking TP back up the top lane and try to push instead, as a couple of heroes are converging onto Fogged in the middle lane. And what looked like it could have been a lot of action just turns out to be absolutely nothing.
Yeah, just a stalemate, backing off in the farm. However, the Morph is alone, and there's still 3 heroes on the bottom lane, so they could potentially do something with that.
Yeah, he's sitting at quite a bit of health, though. He doesn't want to play it too risky. There is going to be a Furion ultimate. Doesn't actually hit the Morphling, though. Stun's going to go off, and this conversion of stats does actually go off before the silence, so he's still going to be able to convert during this. Can he actually live through it? In the meantime, looks like Invoker also gets a kill on Tidehunter. They're still diving him. He does have enough to wait for him, but he goes into a spot where he basically can't shoot. There's no way out of here. Is Tide's going to be able to get him 5 seconds until he can actually wait for him out again, and one more Void from the Night Stalker gets the kill. And it looks like that was actually a 2 for 2 as Invoker and Crystal Maiden both also dropped. I can only follow one fight at a time. Did you happen to see what happened towards middle lane?
I actually didn't. I was watching the Morphling try to live on bottom, but since the 2-2 trade, the Furion's going to TP down and pick up a tower, so... will middle die too, though, is the question. It's just one big trade.
Oh, there we go. It does go down. No one actually got the tower kill, though, so going to the Radiant in this particular case, and I can only imagine that's why the Furion TP'd to top lane to ensure that they would get some kind of tower eventually. And he's done a really good job at applying pressure to the lane. He just hasn't been quite as active. Most of his assists are actually from his ultimate, which is definitely good on his part to have the awareness to go ahead and pop it out, but he hasn't really felt the need, I guess, to come to these fights. And right now it's 9-9, so it's still anyone's game. Gold advantage actually starting to swing in favor of PotM bottom, about 2,000 gold, and the experience is at about 1,000. And actually the first night is going to be over in the next couple of minutes here, so Aui's going to want to try to make something else happen, I think, before the dawn comes, because as everybody who's played the original Dota knows, no one fears a Night Stalker during the day.
True enough, true enough. Even so, if they do try to force something now, the Tidehunter is 6, so Ravage can be a huge factor in the next fight.
Yeah, that's definitely something great that they have going for them. And this is another case of where I think Tide Ravage and the Queen of Pain combo are going to be basically the makers or breakers of their team fight. I mean, yeah, Morphling is going to help some too, but he really hasn't had the start that he's looking for. He's 1-2 right now, 12 minutes in, only 26 CS. He is really suffering. I mean, you can come back from that, especially considering they did kill that tier 1. He's going to have some time to farm, but because of the great warding here from Isurus, he's going to be especially safe.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Like, he really just... He needs something to swing the farm in his favor, because just creeping right now is not enough. He needs hero kills or tower kills or something to happen for him, because he's getting off-farmed.
Yeah, at this phase in the game, I mean, Nature's Prophet's sitting at 82-9. He has a mech and a Midas almost. Oh, they're going to go on Fog right here. No ranks into Wex. He can't use his Ghost Walk. Is he going to die here? He's actually going to choose to go ahead and TP out, and Tide uses the Ravage way too late. Couldn't get in range because of the Ice Wall. Great play by Fogged, managing to outrange that Void just slightly, as we see Night Stalker flying from the side right there for a little bit of scare tactics. I mean, I guess it was still late, but it really felt like that was as soon as he could have used it to try to stop the TP.
It was strange, because it looks like the Ravage hit. Like, you could see the spike go up, so maybe it hit him in the fountain. It didn't hit him fast enough.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate loss, and especially because Tide Ravage, over 2-minute cooldown, I mean, that's a huge deal. That's a lot of time where right now PB is going to feel like, you know what, we can go ahead and push this. We don't have to worry about it so much. Oh, but Aoi might be in some trouble here. He gets shackled to a tree, and there's the Gush as well to follow it up. He's going to try to run away. We're going to see a TP in. Oh, no, we're not, actually. 5 heroes from Isurus picking off that Night Stalker, and it looks like Furion did not want to try and die there as well. Don't blame him for that one, especially. And those wards, man, definitely paid off right there.
Definitely.
All right, Windrunner sitting up here at this top lane, currently sitting at 50-3, so not doing terribly. But then again, I mean, this Nature's Prophet is at 97 CS at less than 14 minutes. That's crazy high farm, and I think it's because he's actually been spamming his ultimate where we don't typically see that. And I just heard a Chen heal, but I guess it was just to heal creeps. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
No, nothing really happened. The Queen of Pain had a little skirmish with the Invoker in the middle, but it wasn't going to die without the Chen heal. And in regards to the Furion spamming his ult, I guess that's fine. They don't really have a hard carry. Night Stalker can be considered a hard carry, but he's more of a semi-carry type hero. I think Furion could out-carry a Night Stalker if he was allowed to spam his ult and do the whole Midas Scepter thing.
Well, I thought he was spamming it because typically you don't see a Nature's Prophet with this much CS this early on, but I mean, I guess he's just winning his lane that well, and he's been really maximizing his farm by going to the jungle whenever he doesn't have a lane to farm. And oh wow, we're actually going to see a bunch of people here from PB kind of group up. They know that Ravage is probably still down. It's going to be up in about 25 seconds though, so PB not really applying too much pressure in that downtime. And I guess that PB is going to decide not to push. Only 2 towers down so far in favor of PB. As we see, the mid tower, tier 1, did die in favor of Isurus. Still pretty close. 10-9. Sirius has a 1-kill lead, but they are currently lacking 3,000 in gold and 500 in experience still. And top lane, Queen of Pain trying to do what you can to clean up these treants. But this tower is eventually going to get whittled down if he keeps doing this.
Yeah, and you got to think Isurus probably thinks that they're at an advantage right now. Like, right? They have the kill score, but that is not the case. The CS scores are just ridiculous in the favor of PotM.
Let's just go ahead and open them up. Okay, so the highest CS right now is 53 tied. Queen of Pain and Windrunner both sitting at about the same. Then we have 116 for Furion, who is not spamming his ultimate that much, by the way. It was up for, I want to say, about 2 or 3 minutes. So that's actually a pretty substantial decrease to his own farm, but he's still got the most in the game by almost double. 50 for Aoi 2000 and 60 for Fogged playing on the Invokers. So in general, yeah, I mean, the CS is really the story of the game. And I just really feel like because of the fact that Nature's Prophet decides to go mech here, they're going to want to try to end the game soon because, I mean, that's an item where you buy with a purpose. You don't just buy a mech to have a mech. You buy it because you want to have some kind of push window. Are they going to Ravage on this Furion? They are, actually. Okay, so they are going to Ravage successfully this time. He is going to mech as well, but there's the wave from the Queen of Pain to take him out. I wasn't sure if he was going to commit to that. Wasn't sure if he was going to wait it out again. And I guess Isurus is going to be satisfied with that Furion kill. So now he's going to have to wait about 40 seconds to be alive again, TP to another lane and try to keep his farm up. But those are good kills, man. Anytime Isurus can get them, they want them.
I mean, they use Ravage and Wave to kill that Furion. If PotM takes advantage of this, they can go and they can take a tower or a Roche. Like, Ravage is down for a long time. That is a free Roche if PotM wants.
Totally agree. See if PB decides to take advantage of that. Bottom lane, double damage is going to be picked up by Night Stalker, too.
Yeah. They're definitely going to try to do something middle.
Well, Furion's going to be out in about 10 seconds, so I think they could definitely fight this. And if they notice that the Windrunner has basically no mana left, and neither does Tide, Windrunner is actually going back to the base right now to get some mana up because she can't really do anything at this point. And Queen of Pain's not going to be ready to fight either, so this is just going to be a free tower. They can't even defend this. Oh, it looks like actually Chan's going to get caught on the side of the jungle too. Furion out doing some damage, and Aoi's going to get one extra right-click Sprout, giving him vision right there, just so we can get that extra auto attack off. And that is a tier 1 dropping again in favor of PB. Still 1 kill lead for Isurus, but I feel like they've been losing a lot of the momentum since the first couple of kills. We'll see if Isurus can do anything to get themselves back into this game. And with their kind of lineup, I mean, they're really based around this stage of the game. This is when they're supposed to be their strongest. They have all the heroes with the ultimates that they want. But like you had said, it's just a matter of using them just to be able to kill one hero. I think that's really just a case of being outlaned in this game. Gonna see another Shackle with one of the weirdest angles I've ever seen, but Tide taking quite a bit of damage. Cold Snap going off as well. He's gonna try to get stepped back to base. Is it actually gonna happen? No, it's not. Invoker picks up the kill. Sunstrike going off into the Sprout by the Queen of Pain, but Queen of Pain manages to blink out as this tier 2 is being heavily pressured. God Strength was popped by Tides of Time. He's gonna want to try to go for this tower last hit. He won't get it though. Invoker's gonna go ahead and take it. Nice Shackle though on his Sven and Crystal Maiden, but there is no follow-up right now from Isurus. They're just going to go ahead and play it passive, give away another tower. So as soon as PB forms up for the first time, Ravage was on cooldown anyway, Tidehunter ended up getting picked off, and they get 2 towers for losing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that was really well done by PotM, and Isurus was just kind of scared. They didn't want to engage, even after the Shackle landed on their 2 disables.
Aoi making his way to the side shop to pick up probably a point booster. Yep, he is going to be going for the quick eggs, not opting to go for a BKB, oddly enough. I mean, if you're this far ahead, I can understand the choice to go eggs if you're a Night Stalker, but I really feel like BKB is still much safer because you can crack the base as long as you have some kind of tanky hero with magic immunity who can just chase somebody down and try to get a pick off, you know? I don't know if Scepter is really the ideal option, but they're so far ahead that I don't even know if it matters. Gonna have another pause, by the way. Want to take this time to once again thank the viewers who are sticking around. I know we've been climbing ever since we actually got the game underway. About 1,000 people watching, so shout out to you guys who joined after the game started. Awesome to have you. But special thanks to the people who were sitting talking with me between the downtime. It was about an hour or so. And that's definitely not something you want, but I really appreciate the support you guys have been giving us. Once again, guys, my name is Draskyl, joined by Quantic Mikey, who probably has to go to a movie sometime soon, I would imagine.
I got enough time to finish the game. It's no problem.
Okay, I don't want to hold you up, man. So if you gotta go, feel free. I will handle the rest of the game by myself. It's awesome to have you on, though, once again.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
So I'm not sure who needed the pause here. Apparently it's one of the stand-ins or somebody from Isurus who's having some lag issues. But we will be casting the rest of the ECAL group stages on this channel, guys. So if you like the games, feel free to follow. I definitely appreciate your viewership. We're going to have many more group stage games to come. This is only Group 2, so we got 2 more groups to go through, and then we're going to have the playoffs after that. You're currently watching one of the most favored teams in Group 2, which is going to be PotM taking on Isurus Gaming. And at this particular stage, I really still feel like it's PotM's game to lose, but can Isurus get their way back into it? We're going to find out as the game has finally become unpaused. And we're going to see if PotM can go ahead and take their momentum that they have right now and solidify a game win. Tidehunter sitting up here in the top lane, level 8 with Windrunner and Queen of Pain as well. Looked like they might have been trying to bait something out there, but I'm not sure who would try to go on a Queen of Pain at this point. They might be just trying to get a tower as well, though. Ultimate Orb picked up on Nature's Prophet. Sitting on another 1,500 gold, man. His farm is just insane. He's got 155 CS. Oh, they're going to blink in onto sneaking right here. This could be a bit of a mistake, though. Tide's holding the Ravage for the TPs. It might be too late, though. He gets silenced before he can Ravage, and it looks like Viren actually manages to get out of their TPs back to base. And instead of getting a for sure kill, they choose not to Ravage at all. Tidehunter gets silenced, but no deaths. I suppose in that particular case, they did force a few TPs, but in the end, not able to take out the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, I think they should have just used the Ravage there at that point. They're not forcing any fights anyway, so what's the point in saving it?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think they're playing a little bit too cautious. I mean, you have to know that you're a bit behind. You've lost more towers, and the kill score is even. Just in a very basic game sense, you have to know that you're the ones who are going to be trying to fight an uphill battle. I mean, the one thing that you can say is the Morphling has had a pretty good amount of free farm now. He's actually up to 88 CS, almost 90, which is fairly respectable at 20 minutes. It's not great necessarily, but it's not quite as bad as it was before, given the start that he had against that tri-line from PB. So he is recovering, and he's going to opt to go for a straight Ethereal Blade, so he wants to try to get that shotgun combination to try to just pick off a hero straight away and give them some kind of teamfight advantage. And I think it's the proper choice, but again, I mean, PB's farm right now is just so far ahead. They're actually getting close to 7,500 gold at just 20 minutes. And given the fact that their start was just so poor, and actually hold on, looks like Queen of Pain's going to drop near the bottom rune. I didn't actually see that at the start, so I'm glad the Chen heal went off. Definitely clued me into it. And it looks like PB is going to go ahead and get Roche out of it. PB using some abilities to eat at the Lincoln's Fence Stone's going to come out. I really don't see any way that Isurus is going to be able to contest this. And actually, they're going to get a tier 2 as well. That would be so good for PB if they manage to get the tower and Roshan as well. But they're just applying split pressure here. They want to make sure that there's not going to be any contention on their Roche. And having the Night Stalker top definitely works well in that sense. Going to see who picks up the Aegis here. Might be, yep, it is going to be Invoker. Invoker also going the Drum and the Force Staff build. Also making Treads. I've been seeing that more and more recently. Do you have any idea why people are starting to go Treads over Phase?
On
Invoker.
what here? Invoker?
Yeah.
I guess it's just preference. I still like Phase boots just because it gives them mobility with the Drum and the Force and possibly Yules. But, I mean, Tread switching is always good on any hero. It's just Strength switch or the Intel switch for the damage buff. And the attack speed's always good. Like, he is a right clicker when he's a Fire Invoker, so attack speed's always beneficial.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. I just didn't know if there was any other reasoning behind it, because we typically, like a couple weeks ago, you wouldn't have seen Invoker caught dead with any boots but Phase. I mean, that was pretty much the only boots anyone ever used on that hero. We're also going to see some pressure being applied to this bottom lane. Chen is here, though, with some creeps. Morphling's here as well, trying to save up for his Ethereal Blade. Tides of Time actually only has a Bracer right now and Treads, but he is a support role, so that's not too bad for him. He is going to max Warcry second, so that does give him the bonus armor. And wow, really aggressive play right there. Actually gets net and shackled in place. We're going to have TP in coming from the Queen of Pain, but nice silence on the Tide, though. Going to prevent a Ravage for some time. And wow, Queen of Pain doesn't even get a chance to move. The amount of burst damage coming out from PB's lineup is just so much. Queen of Pain going to be forced to buy out here. And I got to say, that was great coordination. Aoi just keeping the silence on that Tide right there. He is going to get shackled to the tree, though. His team's not quite in position to help him out. It looks like he's going to give away a kill for free. Is he not going to die here? Okay, the Force Staff does eventually go through. Meteor coming down on top of the Morphling. Chen heal pop maybe a bit prematurely there. Only really helps out the Morphling in that case, but forcing a buyback is still going to be good. And just as I compliment Aoi on his good play right there, forcing the silence off onto the Tide to prevent Ravage, he just gives away a kill. Right now, Isurus sitting in the bottom lane, trying to protect their Morphling as best they can. Gonna keep farming away here. He's currently sitting at 3-2, 106 CS. Nature's Prophet also picks up a scythe that is so huge for him. Oh, they're going to try to catch out the Morphling, but it's actually not going to work. Instead, he's going to go ahead and sprout up that Dark Troll Warlord and go ahead and pick it off some extra gold, get rid of a Chen creep. That definitely helps. Double damage, also picked up by the Sven. That does stack with God Strength. So if they don't defend this tower, man, it's going to drop pretty darn fast. Alacrity popped on Furion here. Another Shackle coming off. Not going to latch anything, though. Wow, Nature's Prophet ult does so much damage, especially this high level this early in the game. Level 3 Furion ult in only 24 minutes. I gotta say, man, his farm is probably some of the highest I've ever seen in a high-level game.
Yeah, for sure. That's some CS.
Well, he's gonna get netted in place here. Are they gonna go on this? Gush does come out. Tide doesn't have much HP to engage. This tower is eventually gonna get whittled down, though. Another Dark Troll Warlord is going to get picked off here, and actually a Sunstrike goes off on Tide and manages to only hit one, so didn't split the damage. I can't even believe that. That was some sick aim right there from Fog. I did not think that was actually going to get a kill. And they also get the tier 2 denied, so that's definitely a little bit good for Isurus. 12-14 at just 24 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. But looking at the gold graph right now, yeah, over 10,000 right now in favor of PB, and experience about 5k. So it's definitely still their game to lose, and I really just have no idea what Isurus can do at this point to get themselves into the game.
I mean, just try to turtle it out, man. Just try to spam out the waves. Keep yourself in the game. Hope the Morph can go farm somewhere while you just turtle. Like, that's the only way they can go about it. Unless PotM makes some extreme mistakes.
Totally agree. Chen almost getting comboed there by the Sunstrike and the stun as well. I mean, they do have a great turtle team. Don't get me wrong. They have Tide, Queen of Pain, Morphling, Chen. I mean, all those heroes are great at turtling, but there comes a point where you're just so far behind a goal that even the best turtle team might eventually fall to just the pressure that PB's lineup can kind of apply to you right here. Oh, is Tide going to go down without ravaging? He actually cancels it. That was a really brave move right there, not choosing to ravage just straight up there. I think he would have easily hit 3 heroes, but he cancel cast it, and he's actually not even going to die. Unbelievable. Sunstrike goes off in the base, not going to make contact with anything. That was a really strange engagement, because we're going to see actually a silence on the winner as well, shackling the CM to a tree. Like, what the heck just happened right there, Mikey?
Really weird. I'm not sure why he canceled the Ravage. It's really just a strange fight.
Oh,
Blows
wow.
my mind.
Top lane. Nature's Prophet gets picked off, but in the meantime, bottom, PB applying a lot of pressure to this. There is no glyph. God Strength was popped by Sven. Are they going to keep going for it? That's the question. Tide still does have Ravage. They didn't even need it to pick off the Nature's Prophet, but he bought back. He's actually just backdooring. He's just going to get the top racks. I suppose it really isn't even backdooring. He did buy back and just TP straight into the base. He's going to get top racks. Now the fight's going to be forest bottom. Tides of time. Gets a Shadow Strike using him right there. Sunstrike not going to be anywhere close. And now we're going to see CM actually way out of position to get picked off by Morphling. That's a killing spree for him. But they lost top racks. Isurus just can't be in every place at once. And they're just really abusing the fact that they have a Furion and such a farm lead that you have to really 5-on-4 to win against PB at this point. And with the Furion, they're just sitting in the other lane saying, you know what? You want to fight us as 5, that's fine. We're just going to take your top racks. Alright, well, 1 rack's down. Let's see if Isurus can get themselves back into the game here. Fog is going to go ahead and TP out. And the bottom racks is not exposed yet. Tower sitting about 300 HP. So it does have some life left in it, but after that kind of engagement, I mean, losing the racks as well, the goal is just getting a little bit too out of control at this point. Over 12,000. Experience actually swinging back up in favor of Isurus, so that's one thing they do have on their side. But just in terms of momentum, overall farm, and map control, I mean, Isurus is behind in almost every single way imaginable. Windrunner farming out the top lane here. Snaking still doing his thing in the woods. He does have something coming to him. All right, he's going for Yasha, so he's going for the Manta. He just wants the base killing build. Definitely pretty standard. Invoker also picks up his Scythe as well. That's going to be good for him. 6, 3, and 4 on that Invoker. Let's go ahead and take a look at the CS overall right now. So 248 for the Nature's Prophet. That is highest in the game by, again, almost double. Queen of Pain actually second at this stage, sitting at 8 and 3 with 131 CS. So he's doing pretty well for himself. And Ethereal Blade finished on Morphling, so that's going to help in the next team fight. But with the kind of HP that we're looking at from PB, I mean, their weakest hero basically has 800 health, which really isn't much to speak of. But I think the real story is the fact that a support like Sven, who does add stun and a significant amount of damage, not to mention 12 extra armor and bonus move speed to your team during a team fight, he has 1600 HP with his drum and his Ogre Club on top of that. So typically when you would see 2 relatively weak supports, you're really only going to be able to get 1 in this case if you're Isurus.
Sure enough, Sven is definitely not a weak support that'll go down without a fight.
Yeah, especially now with that awesome sword. I've been ogling it when I can. It does look very, very cool. Tide actually has level 2 Ravage too. Question is, can Isurus turtle this?
PotM bottom definitely seems reluctant to push into the base, even with the advantage they have. They're trying to split push them in and just pick them apart.
Oh, Howie's not feeling too reluctant. Wow, there's a triple stun right there. Silence onto the Tide as well. Meteor and Deafening Blast comes out, forces the Chen heal right away. Morphling actually gets a shotgun kill onto the Crystal Maiden, Shackle, Night Stalker onto the tree right there. Tide's time kind of running around in front of the base, deciding if he wants to go in or not. But that's pretty much a 1-for-0 right there, so 1 support down. And PB, I mean, Night Stalker took quite a bit of damage there as well. Ravage wasn't even used. So showing some glimpse of hope here. Showing that they're not going to go down without a fight, and God Strength is popped. Once again, Glyph was popped so prematurely, and they're going to lose another tower for this. Shackle's going to come out, not going to lash anything, though. Hex onto the Windrunner just to force it back. Ty's going to TP in, not going to be in range of anyone, really, to Ravage, unfortunately enough. Going to see another stun go off onto the Tidehunter in the mid lane. I want to keep an eye on bottom. The tower was picked off by Furion, and they're going to be chasing this Night Stalker out, who basically gets away with no health whatsoever. Have to imagine that was a shotgun, and just so much happening all over the map. I'm trying to keep up with all of it, but this bottom Rax is going to fall too, man. The melee Rax is just taking so much damage, and oh no, the Hex going off on a Nova, and there's a stun from the low ground. Tides of Time stealing the kill. Treant still attacking the Rax. There is no Glyph up once again to use. They already popped it. Are they going to be able to defend their Rax? I really don't think so. All they really have to do at this point is just run in and attack, and I think they're still going to come out ahead even if they lose everyone. Yeah,
this is just Isurus falling apart all at once, pretty much. They're just losing all of their Raxes here. Well, they're saved now, but they were on the verge of losing everything.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, I mean, it just Prophet. Oh, Crystal Maiden barely lives. Way too going to escape with his life. No waveform popped right there. I was just about to say that Nature's Prophet manages to get up his Manta style, but again, bottom Rax did fall. Melee Rax going down. Range Rax taking quite a bit of damage as well. We saw Fog to actually use Alacrity on his own Forge Spirit, so opting not to give it to himself, wants to give the added bonus to one of his minions. And bottom lane, this is the last 2 set of Rax. They have to try to defend this if they can, and God's Strength just adds so much to a push, man. He hits for over 250 damage, and that is the last Melee Rax down. I gotta think GGs are going to be coming out really soon. Right there, we're going to see Megas, and Windrunner might actually go down here as well. That is Mega Creeps. Oh, nice Shackle, but I don't think it's going to get him away. There's the GG coming out from Queen of Pain. 15 to 15 at 30 minutes, so the action kind of died down a bit after the 10-minute mark, but really great play by PB. Wow, can't talk today. And I got to say, man, I'm really, really impressed with their performance. They're definitely showing, again, why they're one of the best North American teams at the moment, taking out Isurus pretty handily.
Yeah, just aggressive pushing, push them in, just pick them apart, made them make mistakes. Pretty much all that happened here.
Well, once again, guys, this is the last game of the day, so PB, your winners, along with VTI, who took out Root in Game 1. Sorry for the huge delay between the games, guys. Hope it doesn't happen again in the next couple of days. Actually, we won't be casting any ECAL again until, I want to say, Tuesday of next week. It'll be around the same time, though, 7 o'clock Eastern time, if you guys didn't know. I'll probably be posting all the matches beforehand on this channel as well. So, again, I want to thank you guys for watching. My name is Draskyl. Joining me for the cast, Quantic, Mikey, man. You got any last shout-outs you want to make before we sign off?
Definitely, man. Shout out to Quantic, shout out to DB Vision, Twitch, Razer, Machinima, all of my sponsors that support me. Shout out to my teammates, Korok Painted Gold, Matrim, Brax. I love you guys. Best team ever. Shout out to Tora Bora, and shout out, lastly, to mine.
All right, man, it's almost like you've done that before. That was a pretty professional shout out. I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Machinima as well for sponsoring ECAL with their $3,000 North and South American